Washington Irving, he wrote this book here. It's a great illustrated classic. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, and Rip Van Winkle also has Golden Dreams. Golden Dreams at the very end. And so, quick analysis. Legend of Sleepy Hollow. I didn't like the story. Rip Van Winkle, I didn't like the story when I was reading it. And, I enjoyed it while I was reading it. I read the whole thing. I got to the end. And the last one, the Golden Dreams, the one that I never heard of, turned out to be the best damn story. Now, I enjoyed reading them, so let's get into it. Let's just get into it, huh? Let's just be sexy Phil, huh? Legend of Sleepy Hollow, of course, Johnny Depp and Pirates of the Caribbean. It used to be a ride now it's just Johnny Depp, the Legend of he did a movie. He also did that Whitey Bulger thing. Motherfuckers just getting weirder and weirder. You conquered Hollywood because we needed anyways, the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Ichabod Crane is just this goddamn fucking teacher. Teacher comes in and he's, just teaching everybody this and that. And he would tutor different students, and he would, tutor. He would stay in exchange for his tutoring. He would stay at the people's houses. And so that's how he lived his life, right? He would teach at the one fucking schoolroom, and then he would tutor, and then he would, get whatever. Well, apparently he was, trying to court this one woman, and this other guy was trying to court this one woman. And they had sort of they didn't fight, but they didn't like each other. And so apparently what I think happened is the guy just put on a fucking show and pretended to be a headless horseman and scared the shit out of Ichabod Crane. And then Ichabod Crane leaves the town and never returns. And that's it. That's the fucking story. Oh, so Ichabod Crane comes into town. Everybody thinks he's something. He gets scared by a headless horseman, and then he never comes back around. So, I don't know. Maybe the story's been around such a long time, and I grew up with Stephen King. What the fuck? Oh, there's a headless horseman? The one thing I'll say about the headless horseman is that it's a Hessian. It's a Hessian, so it's, back in the American Revolution, it was the British versus the Americans, but you also had the Hessians. The British went ahead and got these mercenaries out of Germany, a county or a state called Hesse, and they were the Hessian soldiers. And so the headless horseman, the theory or the myth or the ghost story about the headless horseman was that it was a Hessian. It was a Hessian soldier who came to America to fight on the British side and got his fucking head blown the fuck off. Now that story, I'm more interested in that. I could see how you could have a headless horseman all of a sudden, that's where the damn, the ghost story came from, right? During the American Revolution, some poor fucking Hessian got his fucking head clear, blown the fuck off by some cannonball. And, the British are going to lose. So who the fuck is a Hessian? You're a Hessian soldier. You took that money and you're a mercenary. You came to a foreign land and now you just lost your fucking head and you're just going to die right where you're not going to enjoy a lick of that fucking money. You're not going to, go home and enjoy any of that money because you're deader than a fucking doornail. So that part I like. That part I like because that's, war is hell, and that's very sad. So in a way, we remember the Hessians, not a single Hessian, but we remember the Hessians with the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Now, Rip Van Winkle, I already knew the, gist of this story. The gist of Rip Van Winkle is that you got a guy who falls asleep, and then 20 years later, everything's different. I already knew the fucking basic, the thing. So in the beginning, it's all King George. It's about the American Revolution. Again, we got two stories. I mean, I guess that's Washington Irving. He was writing around the time of the American Revolution. So Rip Van Winkle, you have a big portrait of King George III, and then he's just being hounded by his wife, and he's known as an idler, and he's, whatever. He goes off and he fucking sleeps he's got a gun and a dog, and he takes a nap. And actually, he doesn't take a nap. He comes across these little elves or some shit. Davy Jones' locker. Some fucking elves, like little short dwarves, elves. Some kind of magical elves and dwarves are singing some sort of song, and they say, hey, that one of them asked him to carry a keg, and he carried a keg all the way out into the middle of the party where they were just playing nine pin. So you got these dwarves in the middle of the forest just playing nine pin. But that's a literary device, right? So, okay, here's beforehand, then some weird shit happens. He falls asleep and wakes up, and then everything's different. well, why is everything different? Because of those 9 pin in the door? No, it's just a literary device. And he wakes up 20 years later, instead of the portrait of being, King George III, it's now George Washington. And then they're in the midst of a debate between the Federalist or the Democratic Republicans. And so they're like, are you a Federalist or are you a Democratic Republican? Which side are you on? Because that's a debate inside of America. And he says, well, I'm on the British side. And he's like, a Tory! The revolution was lost. And he's like, oh, I'm on the side of the... So he was like Kentucky with the Civil War. But that's Rip Van Winkle. A couple, he comes across his dog. His dog is still alive, or it was just another dog that looked just like him or some shit. And eventually they said, well, he did leave. And then, they found out it was him who had gone away and fell asleep and then came back. And if anything, I don't know. I don't like that part of the story. It was the cool part of the story was, the new society that he came into. So it was what? They were arguing and debating, and there wasn't, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, those weren't as great. The last story was fantastic. The last story has a good motto. It's got a good lesson, and it was a good story. So the Golden Dreams, it starts with this fucking guy here. Here, we'll do, see some pictures. So you got this guy here, right? He's just dreaming of all the treasures because apparently, during his day and age, you got all these gold diggers. People literally, digging mines and shit, trying to find gold and trying to strike it rich, trying to find their, their pot of gold or their fucking oil field or whatever. So he was dreaming of gold, and he dreamed 3 nights in a row that the gold was in his cabbage patch. Now, he was sad because his damn cabbage patch only, brings him a couple pennies at the damn market. And here you have all these gold diggers finding gold and being fucking rich as shit. And he's like, man, I gotta fucking do something with my plot of ground. I gotta do something. So he started digging for all the gold, but he dug up all his damn cabbage. And he kept digging and he kept digging, and he didn't make any money because he didn't have any. So it was like, oh my God, what's he gonna do now? And then eventually there's a story, he gets poor, and there's a guy that's, Dick Waldron is trying to pick up Amy, right? And now that Amy is poor, he seems to like her more. But this old guy, Wolfert, he's, goes to a bar. They're all, talking about how they have, this hidden treasure or what the fuck ever. And Wolfert overhears it. So he got, caught into the gold rush, and he's like, damn it, I just want to find my treasure. So he never found a treasure in the cabbage patch like he thought he was going to. And this goddamn pirate is sitting there, bragging about how he's got this fucking, and whatever. And then they follow him, and they think that it's here, they think it's over there. Then there's a storm. There's 5 desperate looking characters, and they hit him, and then the guy runs away, and he's able to get away. And he was like, well, where they, tell me where they buried it. And he went over there, and he couldn't find it. He couldn't fucking find it. So eventually the damn pirate gets his own fucking treasure, and that's it. That's it. But it's not the end of the story. He thinks it's the end because he's like, fuck it, God damn it, I'm trying to find my riches. I'm trying to find the goddamn, the pot of gold at the end of the railroad. I'm working, my fucking ass off here, and what do I got to show for it? So he's, he says he feels death coming on. He's like, I feel death coming on. Tell the doctor, get the lawyer, I need to make out my will. And while he's, talking to the lawyer about making out his will, he's like, well, whoever gets this land, they're going to do really well because this land is worth a lot of money. He's like, worth a lot of money? He's like, yeah, when you subdivide it into lots, this is going to be a part of the city, right? So this land is worth a lot of money. They're going to subdivide, that into lots, and whoever gets this land is going to have a pretty penny. So once he said that, then the guy goes, I have an idea. I know how I can make money. Instead of, doing the cabbage or whatever, he just sold the land and made money that way. And then later on you see a picture of him like in a big plantation in a big house, and a bunch of children and grandchildren or what have you. So yeah, the land that he wasn't able to turn and make a buck out of it with the soil, he couldn't produce enough cabbage to make a good living. Since it was a good plot of ground, he was able to make some money by selling the damn plot of ground to somebody else. And, yeah, so it goes to show you, When you dig for gold and dig for gold and dig for gold, you're not going to find gold, not by digging. But all that land that you dug up, that gold, that was gold to begin with. That dirt was the gold. The dirt was gold. Save Ukraine.